Welcome to Angular Catch-Up, the podcast where we dive into the latest trends and updates in Angular ecosystem. I'm Jarek.
And I'm Sonu, and we're here to keep you up to date with the exciting things about Angular.
Today we have a very special guest with us, Alan from the Angular team. Alan, it's fantastic to have you on the show. Could you tell us a bit about yourselves and what you've been working on recently?
Yeah, sure. So first, thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I'm Alan from the Angular team. I am Maltese, so I'm from Malta, but currently living in Switzerland. I love food, coffee. Actually, I consume a lot of coffee. And also I quite enjoy fishing and angling. So yeah.
Awesome. Great to have you with us, Alan. So let's kick things off with a big question. What is the latest new features in SSR?
Okay, so in version 19, which is currently in pre-release, there are a couple of new features. So for starters, we will introduce the server routing configuration, which enables users to mix and match different rendering modes for different routes. So you can have a route which is client-side rendered, another route which is server-side rendered, and another route which is statically rendered. In this configuration, users can also provide and add additional headers and also change the state response code of the response. Apart from that, now users have also the option to generate the values of the dynamic routes to be pre-rendered in the current versions. If you have a dynamic route and you want to pre-render all the variations of that route, you need to create a text file, and this text file will basically contain all possible routes. But now with these changes, you can do that in code. So you remove the need for the text file. Also, it's fully integrated with the Vile dev server. So when using the dev server, you have access to the response and request dependency tokens. It's also, the API was designed also to make it portable, meaning that it can work on Node.js and also on other environments, such as edge workers and things like this.
Awesome. I can admit that I've been trying the new setup and configuration, and everything works smoothly without really any extra things that previously you had to do. Moving further, with all these new features, what do you think are the most common challenges developers face when implementing server-side renders application?
I think one of the biggest challenges that there's still today is that a lot of libraries, especially like if we take out what was missing or what is missing from these features that we added recently, the biggest pain point would be that a lot of libraries either are designed to work specifically on the browser or specifically designed to work on a Node.js environment. So actually using a library that works on both environments or actually on different environments, it's kind of tricky. So that is definitely one of the pain points that there is out there, that libraries are not portable, basically. Another pain point is deployments, which we will be looking in the future to ease the deployment story, because currently, if you are deploying to a certain hosting provider, if you want to change that hosting provider, there might be some challenges there because you need to basically change the entire setup, etc. However, there are things that we are looking into which enables us basically smooth this transition. I think those are the main pain points.
Okay, that's interesting. But SSR, isn't always the right solution for every project. So in your opinion, when shouldn't developers use SSR?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, SSR shouldn't always be used, and in some cases, for instance, it's not ideal, such as if you have an internal application that doesn't need to be as performant or you have a lot of data that changes frequently, or a lot of permutations of this data based on geolocation, on user specific data, etc., SSR might not be the right choice for those cases. However, if you have, like when using SSG versus when using SSR, it's also a very different use case. Like if you have static data and data doesn't change very often, SSG probably makes more sense, while if the data is very dynamic and changes a lot, SSR would make more sense in that case. So for instance, if you have a landing page, SSG is perfect. However, if you have e-commerce website or application, then you might be looking into more into SSR rather than SSG. One other case where SSR wouldn't be as beneficial, or actually SSR would be beneficial if you are very much into SEO and you want to prove your rankings, etc., then SSR or SSG will definitely help you there.
So I have a question about the Angular or Google products. Are all the Angular libraries compatible with SSR?
So yeah, we don't do any changes to Angular material or the framework in order to be able to use them in Angular SSR because they're already compatible. So
Got it. I'm sure many listeners are curious about the practical side of things, and could you tell us what are the main performance benefits?
one is like you would decrease the first contentful pane, largest contentful pane, etc. So all the core web vitals would be reduced. The other performance benefit would be that if you are on a low-end device, again, you don't need to wait for all the files to be downloaded before the actual users seeing something on the screen. So it's not of how you are actually improving the performance of your application, but you are actually improving how the performance of how your application is delivered.
That makes sense. So one question I have is, how does Angular SSR deal with lazy loader routes, and what tips do you have for optimizing performance when using SSR with lazy loading?
So lazy loading is no different from the browser. When it comes to the server, it's still a lazy ECMA dynamic import. There are cases where actually on the server lazy loading can harm more than does good. And these cases are especially so when you are deploying to a serverless environment, where if you have a deep lazy chunks, it would need to be evaluated for each and every request. However, other than that, which we also improve in the future, from SSR point of view, there are no differences from doing lazy loading on the browser and on the server. So it's exactly the same. There's no difference. And from tips, I would say lazy load as much as you can.
All right, so let's move to the next question. Speaking of future applications, so with recent release of zoneless Angular, we have this zoneless feature available. But how do you see the integration of zoneless Angular with SSR evolving? Is SSR working and is compatible and stable with zoneless applications?
So currently with zoneless and SSR, there are still some rough edges that we need to tackle, especially like since there's no zone, we cannot know when the application is fully stable and say that, hey, the application is stable, now you can go ahead and render it. So without zone, we don't have that. There are the pending tasks API or experimental pending tasks API, but that does need some boilerplating if you basically need to do all your own inits with it or etc. So we are not there yet, but we are working on it.
Great. Can't wait to hear more about that. So lately, I think we have been hearing a lot about event replay. right? So can you tell us what the roadmap looks like for that, and when do you think we can expect it to become stable?
So Event Replay will become stable, and actually it's already stable in version 19, which is currently pre-release. So yeah, go try it out if you haven't. In version 19, also, when you create a new application, we will add Event Replay by default.
That's interesting.
As in when you create a new application with SSR.
Yeah, so you'll not be putting event reply as an argument when you are applying the hydration, right? Or
you will still do that, but it will be done for you automatically.
I got it. So when we will use the schematics and we'll add the Angular SSR, everything would be configurable with event reply by default.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Now, shifting gears a little bit, and let's talk about debugging SSR. So racing debugging might be tricky if you are not familiar with SSR. Can you share some best practices or best way how we can debug server-side generated applications?
Okay, so I mean, there are 3 ways that you can debug something, like the old faithful console log. Then you can basically use the node inspector. So you'll when you run the server, you do node -- inspect, and it will launch the process in an inspect mode, where you can attach the process in your IDE and at a breakpoint. With this approach, you can also debug it through Chrome DevTools. So when you start the process in this mode in Chrome, you can put inspect, and you can basically debug your server code like how you debug a browser application. And the last one is if you are running ngserve, ngserve has the inspect option. So ngserve-inspect, and basically it will do the same thing that the node inspect would do.
Great, that's super helpful. Thank you for the answer. So before we wrap up things, Alan, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners? Any secret features that are coming up?
So no, secret features, no, because it's a secret, so I cannot tell you. But I definitely want to encourage users to try our new APIs, SSR APIs especially, and give us feedback. And apart from that, we also in the future, so near future, we are also planning some exciting things.
What does it mean, exciting things?
Yes, you have to wait. No, it's part of our roadmap, so I can say it. So basically, in the next steps, we will also be looking into the possibilities of using Nitro, which would provide an improved developer experience, especially when it comes to deployments.
All right, that sounds really interesting. So thanks again, Alan. And let's wrap up. So we hope you all found today's episode informative and engaging, and we'll be back with another exciting guest and discussion very soon.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to the Angular Catch-Up to stay up to date with the latest episodes.
Until next time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for joining, Alan.